Good afternoon. Welcome to Jim Munley's World of Weather. You clicked on to the long-range weather forecast discussion for August 14th and 28th. Before we get to the forecast, we're going to take a look at Fred. I don't think Fred looks as healthy as it did yesterday because it's starting to move over the Dominican Republic, and I showed yesterday that the terrain across this area is pretty high. This is current satellite projection, and this is the current position as of 5 p.m. and is 18.9 north, 71.0 west. Maximum sustained winds are 40 miles per hour. Movement towards the west-northwest at 15. And this is the projected path that that's forecast to make. Now, as they keep saying, everyone keeps saying, don't just focus on this cone, because it can go to the right of this cone or even to the left of this cone. And we'll take a look at the models and see what they're doing with it. Okay, you got to keep an eye down here. So you see this blob here is Fred. This is a GFS, and it brings it across the Dominican Republic, weakens it. And it could re-strengthen again to a tropical storm, at least a very strong tropical storm, slight chance of being a hurricane. And then it brings it up into the southeast. See the L there, that's Fred. And then next week it goes into the Appalachian and spreads heavy rain northward. Okay, that's the GFS. We'll take a look at the European. Weakens it. Weakens it, brings it almost on the same general track, and then lifts it along the Appalachians, the spine of Appalachians. Now, this will also bring heavy rain. We'll get to that in the meantime. But also, further out in the eastern Atlantic, we have another wave that we'll be watching coming across the off the African coast. And this could, some of them I'll show, could affect Florida, and it's right here. Does look very well developed. That's the GFS. Here's the European. This little spin here, this little low. So there's things to be watching here across the Atlantic basin. Okay, now the region in the west will cause a heat wave across the northwest to continue into the weekend, with temperature anomalies exceeding 20 degrees above normal in some locations. We'll take a look at that. Let's see, you get to the map. Which one? Okay, here's a temperature forecast. We'll go to tomorrow. We have temperatures in the low 100s. Low 100s here, 102. And then we'll go into Friday. We see more 100s, 108, 110, parts of Idaho. Then go to Saturday and Sunday. Now, also, a trough is forecast to move into the northwest later in the period. And we'll take a look at that again at the surface. This is for the period for August 14th to the 18th. So you see our ridge, and later in the period we start having a trough to develop late in the period, this trough here. Now this will help to beat down the ridge and suppress it a little bit with the heat. Now as the trough moves in and suppresses the heat, below normal temperatures are forecast, and above normal temperatures are spread into the northern plains by next week, with anomalies of 10 degrees possible above normal. So we'll take a look at those temperatures if we could. Okay, we probably don't have it here, but these are the temperatures we're forecasting. And then look, this temperature's cool as you go later into next week. Still warm to the south. And we already talked about a hurricane or tropical storm, Freddie, and the National Hurricane tracks the storm to the Florida Keys by Saturday and then to the eastern Gulf of Mexico this weekend before moving inland into the southeast. And then the system is forecast to pick up, to track up the Appalachians early next week. We'll go back to the surface maps. And you can see here's the system here. And this will spread rain across southeast and lower mid-Atlantic. And then it goes off to the north. And then we took at the European deterministics. All basically showing the same thing. And the European ensembles. All bring the system up along southeast and the mid-Atlantic with heavy rainfall. Even though it's weakened, it'll still produce a lot of rain across areas of the southeast. With the trough moving into the northwest, the monsoonal activity in the southwest should increase and spread northward again. So we'll take a look at that. I think this map shows it well. You see spreading here across this area. This would be the monsoonal moisture here. And across the lower Mississippi Valley and the southern plains, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms will be possible under the warm, humid air mass. We're going to look now at the period for August 19th to 23rd. Now, trough is forecast in the west with a ridge over eastern Canada and the northeast. See right here, here's our trough ridge configuration. Here's another ridge out here across the eastern Pacific. So all in all, this is what our forecasted pattern look like. So for this forecast period, I'm calling for below normal temperatures for this region here, and I'm calling for anomalies of 2 to 4 degrees below normal. Above normal temperatures forecast for this region here, with the anomalies of 4 to 8, maybe a little higher above normal across this area here. For precipitation, calling for above normal precipitation here and for this region, and the probability of occurrence is 35 to 40%. And we have below normal precipitation forecast for the northeast. Probability of occurrence is 35%. Looking for the period for August 24th to 28th. Let's go to that. August 24th to 28th. We still have a trough. Well, let me think about this a little bit. Most of the models have a broad ridge across the southern states with the westerlies across the north, weak trough here. But if you look at the European ensembles, has more of a trough across this area. See it? So I think the pattern will look something like that. So for this forecast period, I'm calling for above normal temperatures for much of this area here, and I'm calling for anomalies of 4 to 8 degrees above normal. And for precipitation, below normal precipitation forecast for here and for the northeast, probability of occurrence is 35 to 40%, and we have above normal precipitation forecast from eastern Texas into the southeast and Tennessee Valley, and the probability of occurrence is 35 to 40%. Now I just want to make sure that I had everything to show that I wanted to show. So we went through that, we went through the temperatures, we went to the tropics. Oh, and this is one thing, this is an interesting thing. When you look at the upper air feature, this is what we have right now. We have a ridge here and also a ridge here over the southeast, 594. This is more of where the jet lies, pushing the jet up to the north. So, and then as we go later in the period, you can start seeing that the trough starts moving into the west. So a little bit of ridging here across the eastern states, not as strong. Then the ridge is sitting here over the west, a strong ridge. This is GFS. And the jet kind of dips down to the south a little bit across the northeast. But just want to show you that was just an interesting thing to show. Okay, so that's the long-range weather forecast discussion for August 14th to 28th. Thanks for coming to Jim Munley's World of Weather, and have a good day.